Ever wanted a game where you get to play as legendary female figure Joan of Arc? Well, this isn't that game, but it is loosely, and very much so, loosely based on her life. Here's what I have to say about Jeanne D Arc, an SRPG by Level 5 Studio, published by Sony. As most SRPGs play, you take turns, choose how you move, and place your team of 1 to a maximum of 9, depending on the mission, through grid-based movements. Now, the really great part of the game is the emphasis on teamwork and positioning your members. This can be boiled down to 3 game mechanics: Unified Guard, Burning Auras, and Transforming. Whenever you have your team close together, they'll form a Unified Guard whenever a member is attacked, either through counterattacks or the enemy striking first. This mechanic will pop up on that member and slightly boost either their defense or evasion stats, so sticking together would most of the time be the ideal formation to go with. On the other hand, Burning Auras are formed whenever your member uses a regular melee attack. Doing so causes these Burning Auras to form in front of the attack and either stays on that spot or on one of your teammates in the same position. This mechanic helps to boost your regular attacks and skill-based attacks, emphasizing the importance of positioning, so plan your strikes well to make use of the boost. Lastly, the final game mechanic is Transforming. As the name implies, you transform a specific member, only a few characters have this ability, to an armor-wearing, stat-boosting version of themselves with a very useful passive skill called Godspeed. Whenever a transformed teammate kills an enemy, they will get another chance to move and/or attack. If you plan your attacks and use your transforms wisely, you can easily take out a bunch of enemies within a turn. Like I said, positioning and teamwork is essential to winning each battle. With all those mentioned mechanics, you've got yourself a fun and addictive SRPG on your hands. When I mention skills, you should know that magic points, MP, starts out low and you have to eventually gain enough through turns. Also, you've got your standard fantasy-based types of characters that range from distance attackers like mages and archers to melee-focused characters like sword and spear users. Additionally, there's a few others that add a bit of variety to your strategies, such as Thief that you gain as you progress through the story. Also, while each types of characters have their own skill sets tied to that specific weapon of theirs, all teammates can use magic.
Everything that has happened until now is the will of the Armlets. The Armlets have led us to this place.
And when I mean places, like all over. Killings, betrayals, sense of responsibilities, politics, legends, and that's just a few of the story themes tackled within Jeanne D Arc. While initially it's a story of Jeanne fighting for France against the British in the name of God, it later spirals up and down into a story that I never expected them to go down with. And yes, the story does boil down to fighting an evil hellbent on world conquering. The journey to that plotline is well worth the time. Now, my only problem with the story is a few characters that do pop up and join your party later don't at all seem relevant until one part later within the game. Even after those parts of the story is done, those characters are left to disappear into the dark abyss known as Backgroundum, and don't ever pop up into any scenes afterwards, throughout the main story. Other than that tidbit of annoyance, it was an enjoyable story, and at least not bad or at all cringy. Impacting cutscenes are done through animated segments, which is mostly okay at times, nothing amazing. Also, most of the teammates you gain eventually are also loosely based on Joan of Arc's real-life allies. Although, I'm pretty confused who Rufus the dog is based on. The environments that can range from a peaceful town to a canyon march to even demonic castle spaces. The developers did a solid job making each mission area different and unique. Not only are the environments varied, They also designed quite a number of missions with their own set of rules, turn limits, and victory and failure conditions. So most of my time, I never felt the brunt of repetition, and wholly enjoyed all the missions. There were some frustrating missions, but besides those few, all the other missions I enjoyed greatly. The chibi-esque designs also made the characters, funnily enough, cute to control and gawk at. Yeah, I loved it actually. There's a solid and deep sense of SRPG-ness to it, and the level of care they put for each mission and areas to make combat not stale was very well noted. Characters aren't all that memorable to me, some of them are slightly one-dimensional, and others tend to pop up and get suddenly inserted into the main story when they're needed, but they don't pop up afterwards. It's also, funnily enough, an adorable looking game at times, which is the opposite tone the story was going for. Oh hell yeah, a definite play for any fan that likes games that maxes out your creative juices to knock out enemies effectively and efficiently. There's plenty of character types and skills to fit your needs, but the downside to that is that it took a while for me to actually like it, but if that ever does happen to you, I can only just say, keep pushing. It's worth the 52 hours that I had with the game. Get it and play it, either on your Vita, your PSP, your mobile, and emulators, or even on your PC. Jeanne D Arc is memorably fun.